Hey guys, welcome back. Dr. Shikenzo Khan here. Today we're going to be doing a different type of video, being the mindset needed to start a Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh business. Now, starting off with the most important part for you people that can't wait around any longer. Chickens. Khan, how much do you make per month? Well, firstly, we're just going to be sticking to our sales streams from our businesses, as right now we haven't hit those YouTube requirement marks yet, and won't be talking about any other source of income outside of the sales. So when it comes to sales, which we started around mid-May a couple months ago, and after collecting for the last year and a half, working on that YouTube and collection, we've started to make between 2 to 4 grand USD a month. 2 on the low side, 4 on the higher side, which is why it's key to diversify what you're doing, guys. Whether it's working hard on a full-time job, putting your money into investments, crypto, in my case, what you love, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards. However, it's sad to say the time of buying boxes and instantly doubling or even tripling your money is over. And I gotta say, this is turning a lot of people off, whether it's LGSs, collectors. Now, getting into the meat of it, another good question, how did you get started, Khan? Well, back when this whole virus thing came out, I had just finished my bachelor, was jobless, and bored as hell. And one day on YouTube, I was watching a couple videos when all of a sudden, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon popped up into my feed. And slowly but surely, I started to reconnect with what I loved many years ago. And the nostalgia was rushing back. So I started buying what I loved. I started off with SDK Blue Eyes, going back to all them old sets like Metal Raiders, LOB. And even as I started to look at newer products that came out since I hadn't been in the hobby. Actually, like these legendary collection Kaiba guys. Once I saw these in a couple openings when I came back into the hobby, I was suddenly glued to these and my gut was telling me, chickens, you gotta grab me some of that. As well as these epic Kaiba collector boxes, guys. To be honest, I was just obsessed with anything Blue Eyes. And as it turns out, after buying these things, whether it was for 20, 30 USD at the time, a year and a half later, now they're sitting at 70, almost $100 per box. Even though I had no clue about anything price-wise, I knew what I wanted. And eventually we started uploading videos to our YouTube channel, doing more and more openings, and our love for the hobby was invigorating. And slowly but surely I realized this is way too fun to be just doing on the side. And I kept thinking to myself constantly, how can I evolve this into something I can do every day and turn it into a business that allows me to do what I love on a consistent basis? And I knew there was potential. Seeing all these old products that I bought years ago when I was a baby chicken and now seeing them at crazy prices. And after collecting some stuff, it had been proven that these products were investable. And doing what I loved, I had an advantage. So I started devising a plan of products to pick up on long term, holding as investments, and the short term. Now some would call this scalping and flipping and this and that. But I realized I needed cash flow on the short term in order to get products and supply my openings as well as generate some income. So after purchasing several boxes for them long-term investments, as you guys can see, one of them favorites, that Legend of the Blue Eyes, the first ever Yu-Gi-Oh box, some will say that holy grail of all of Yu-Gi-Oh. We picked this up at the time for 13,000 in total USD, and they're now sitting for around 60, 50,000 USD sale price. And this is a wavy box, being the more rarer version compared to the glossy. Now a lot of you may think, I can't afford a first edition LOB box or fossil box. But that's okay, because everything has its time. If you go down the list to something more affordable, just a year ago or so, these Rise of Destiny around $200 a box, being the second ever GX set between that classic and GX era, guys. Even now, going to the next era, 5D, Absolute Power Force being one of the less popular sets. 8 months ago, around $100 booster box, now sitting at almost $300 a booster box. As well as several other boxes we got in the background there for Yu-Gi-Oh! That we bought at a pretty low price last year and now have considerably jumped up to that 1 to 2 grand range. As well as some juicy Pokemon boxes. Even though I gotta say I had no clue about any of this when I first got into the hobby, guys, but I did know what I liked. Evolutions, for example, a nice spicy box that a lot of people had a lot of controversy about. When this was a $130 box, everyone was saying there's no way this is going to be a valuable set. But me being the newbie I am and saw that this was a recreation of the first ever Pokemon set. Even though it was a recreation and a lot of people didn't like it, you know, just that nostalgia overflow. But as now we can see, prices have proven wrong, as this is now an $800 box. From XY Evolutions and the sets around that, you guys know about that Flash Fire, that's definitely, whew. The XY Evolution, then going into the Sun and Moon era with that Unbroken Bonds, Cosmic Eclipse, guys, you guys know about that $400-$500 box range. And now into the most recent era with that Sword and Shield, Darkness Ablaze, guys, Vivid Voltage. Some of these sitting almost $200 a booster box, $180, $170, just about a year after release. You don't have to have hundreds of thousands to go get them LOB or crazy first ed base set, guys. Even looking at like newer sets like Hidden Fates, which came out in 2019, guys. Only because of the reprint. They used to be $350 for one of these ETBs, guys. Now, only because of the reprint that came out last October, they're sitting around the $160 mark. But if you were fast enough, you could have grabbed a couple of these for the $35-$50 range. Even though everything's not as smooth sailing, when all the hype and everything was up there, we grabbed one of them Fossil Boxes first edition in around that October-November range of 2020, which we picked up for around $20k and have dipped to the $13-$14k mark now, which is unfortunate. But hey guys, the importance of diversifying. But hey, everything's not a smooth sail, as you guys can see. And moving on to the next point, which also applies to the YouTube as well as the business, which is creating a niche product or service. Relating to the business, this is where my short-term sales comes into play. As I'm sure you guys can see up there, we have an assortment of Korean boxes, and some would even call us the Korean King. And by having these assortment of packs and boxes, I'd be able to create a niche, being one of the only people to have every set available for sale, offering a unique product and service which not many, if any other, can supply. As well as being in Thailand, some people may think this is a disadvantage, with the US and the UK and many other countries around Europe and the US being the major markets for Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. However, by having a niche product, as well as incorporating my personality into the sales and customer service, I've been able to create a strong customer base for the international market, selling to people all around the globe. Not letting shipping restraints being a major concern. And now when we talk about YouTube and creating a niche, this is the same thing. Even though we haven't hit that 1,000 subscribers or any of the goals we got set out, as I'm saying guys, we're eventually going to hit that 1 million mark one day. If not, we have failed. But when talking about creating a niche product or service for YouTube, these are the things that allows you to stand out and become unique from the crowd, guys. Rather by creating value for your viewers by giving information, displaying products or services that not many others can do, and by having that personality that people love and keep coming back for. And the most important thing I would have to say out of everything is to suck it up, guys. As you can see with the Fossil Box, not everything goes according to plan. I'm not still anywhere close where I want to be. And that's why it's always important to have a backup, guys. And not go all in. For example, I have a part-time job on super yachts, which is no question easy, working 15 hours plus a day. Not saying it's not fun, but not many things in life are easy that are worth doing, guys. And that's why it's important to stick to your guts and be persistent. Sure, there's going to be some days when you look at your competitors and people around you doing the same things, and you might get discouraged. But you know what? You use them and you use that as competition and motivation, guys. Because everyone's on their own journey and path. But do you have what it takes to suck it up during the hard times when things aren't going your way? When the results aren't showing? Then again though, guys, I am a chicken surrounded and living in cardboard in my parents' basement, so what do I know? But hey guys, a little bit of a different one, just showing my mindset, a little bit of the journey I took to get here, and to hopefully give you guys a little bit of insight for any of you looking to do the same. But hey, all that goodness, blah blah, Django says to subscribe and punch that! As Django and I are signing out.